Let's take a look at the chart action for Ethereum. Alright, so here is what I'm looking at. We had a channel pattern going like this. We're bouncing in between those trend lines. And it looks like we're getting a breakout to the downside right now. Or at least we broke that trend line going down. We're not getting a lot of selling volume down here, but we did break the trend line, so we're going to want to keep an eye on that. What I'm kind of curious is, are we going to close this candle below this trend line, or are we going to pop back up? I think if we close below it, that'll be a slightly bullish sign, and then we'll have to wait and see what tomorrow's candles or the next couple days candles do. If we keep heading down, what I'll be looking at is these Fibonacci retracement levels. If we get from the bottom of the trend to the top of the trend, get the Fibonacci retracement, drag from the bottom to the top. These give us some levels to watch if we took profits here. So what I'm doing is looking at 4377, 4075, 3830, and 3586. I don't know how far the price will go down, but these are the levels that I have limit orders on, and I'll be watching these levels to see if we can maybe get a bounce on one of them. In general, what I'm looking at is we have resistance right here, resistance right here. We have a trend line going to the downside like that. Until we break this trend line going to the upside, then I'm going to assume that it's going to give us resistance or it's going to give us trouble. So we could drag that out, something like that, and we could basically watch this trend line like this until we break it going to the upside, and that will be a bullish signal, in my opinion. And as long as we're riding this trend line going to the downside, I'll be looking at these Fibonacci levels for a possible bounce or levels to buy back in at, or close my shorts, should I say. If we look at the 9 moving average on the daily time frame, it's going like this blue line right here, and we broke below it right there as well. I want to see the 9 moving average come through like this, and I want to see the price break through it again. Once the price is able to break through that 9 moving average, then that will also be a bullish signal, and we can start getting more bullish. The other thing you could probably look at instead of the Fibonacci levels are these previous support levels right here. There's a bunch more support levels than the Fibonacci levels, so I kind of just was checking out those Fibonacci levels. The 50% kind of lines up with the support down here, and yeah, I don't know, the support and the Fibonacci's don't line up perfectly, so I don't know, you might have to pick and choose which one you want to kind of go after. I'm kind of more looking at these Fibonacci levels because they're kind of spaced out pretty good. It's possible that we just stay in this res zone right here and just bounce in between there and get a bounce out, something like that, or it's possible maybe we do some sort of trend line to the downside like this. We kind of trade in this area right here and then go to the next zone, trade like that, go to the next zone, and then get a breakout, something like that. 50% level is pretty common for us to hit, so maybe 3,839, but like I said, maybe even stay in the red zone. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Like I said, the main thing I'll be watching is this downtrend right here. If we break that, then that'll be at least one signal that we can look at. Let me show you what I'm looking at on the weekly time frame. We have our two previous tops right here and previous top right here. So let's do a trend line like this. And what I'm kind of wondering, or what I'm kind of curious about, is this going to hold support, or is this resistance that we had going to turn into support now that we're above it? The other thing I wanted to show you is that we still are on a big uptrend. So let's do a trend line going to the upside like this. The weekly looks a little bit different than the daily. We still haven't broken the weekly trend line, even the one that we broke on the daily over here. But yeah, I'm still kind of curious if we're going to come down into this area and have to retest this trend line down here, or this trend line, should I say. Maybe we'll get a bounce on that to the upside like that. This trend line is sitting at around 4,000, maybe like 3,900, somewhere around there. 3,964 approximately. So yeah, I do like the fact that we're still above this, and like I said, let's see if we can hold support and maybe turn into support instead of giving us resistance like it did in this area over here. I think if we break below that, that will be a bearish signal though. So if we break below, like, I don't know, it just depends. We're gonna have to stay below here as well though. We could maybe even wick down and still be okay, and wick back up, or come back up. But what I'm kind of curious, what I don't really want to see us do is drop below around 4,000. Because then we might even be breaking this trend line right here too, which is a bigger one. We'd have to, once we start breaking this trend line, then I would say maybe we'd be looking at these levels down here, or we'd have to do another Fibonacci retracement, maybe from the bottom to the top of this trend like this. Maybe we'd be looking at 3,359. I'm not sure. I'm not going to cross that bridge until we start breaking this trend line going to the downside, but yeah, that's potentially there, I guess. So yeah, going back to the daily time frame on Ethereum, we haven't completely broke this trend line. Now that I'm looking at it again, it does look like we are really testing it though. So basically those targets that I was looking at, if we continue this momentum to going to the downside, I'll be looking at those. I still have those limit orders set up just in case. I wanted to show you guys this channel I came across. This guy, he raps about cryptocurrency. This video, he raps about Ethereum. I think in general, his videos are just pretty funny. He kind of reminds me of Malibu's Most Wanted. If you like kind of like funny rap, you should go check it out. Let me know what you think. If you liked the video, hit that thumbs up button.